Okay, now I'll let people in. Where'd they all go? Okay, here we go. And you can, we're ready to go.
All right, great. Hi, everyone, and thank you for joining us tonight or this afternoon based on where you're based. My name is Desi. I'm the youth program manager at Easter Seals, Massachusetts. And I use she, her pronouns. I'm based out of Boston, Massachusetts. So again, I know there's people from all over joining us. And we are here today to talk about a campaign that has been started to hashtag teach disability history. And we're excited to be here to share information about that campaign, share some of our thoughts around why we think it's important to teach disability history, and even maybe have a chance to hear from all of you all if you all have any questions for us. So I want to start by giving everyone the chance to introduce themselves that's presenting with us today. So when I call on you, if you could turn on your camera, that would be extremely helpful. So we'll start off with Anita. If you want to just again share your name, maybe where you're based and your involvement with the campaign.
My name's Anita. I go by she, her pronouns, and I live in Warren, Massachusetts, and I've been part of the Teach Disability History campaign for about a year now.
Great, thank you. I next want to turn it over to Stephanie.
Hello, I'm Stephanie. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm a part of the Easter Seals Teach Disability History campaign. I've been with them since they started, and I'm also a part of the Dream Board as well for people, students with disabilities.
Great, thank you. I next want to turn it over to Fancy.
Hi everyone, my name is Fantasy. I use she, her pronouns. Right now I'm in San Diego. I go to school at University of San Diego, and I'm originally from Idaho/Utah. Right now I'm wearing a black shirt that says hashtag thanks to the ADA. It came from an Idaho campaign that we did, but a lot of letters in the shape of the United States, that words and letters that symbolize just disability justice in general. I have black hair and I have a high bun right now, light-skinned woman of color, just for physical description. And I am a part of the Dream Board, also just helpful with students with disabilities and resources and education. Stephanie and I are both on the self-advocacy team. And so we're here to kind of also spread awareness about self-advocacy and what Dream has to offer.
Thank you. And finally, Cody.
All right. Hello, everyone. My name's Cody. Him. I'm from Amherst, Massachusetts. And I've been involved with Teach Disability History for about a year, going on a year and a half. So, yeah.
Great, thank you. And I look forward to hearing from all of you as we go through the presentations. So I'm now going to share my screen because we have a little presentation about our campaign. Did that go through all right?
Yep.
Great, and to give a brief description, so on the screen is a PowerPoint slide where there is a DREAM logo that reads Dream, Disability Rights, Education, Activism, and Mentoring, as well as the Easter Seals Massachusetts logo, and underneath is the hashtag Teach Disability History. So Cody?
Yeah, so we are young adults with disabilities working with Easter seals and almost with some members of a dream. Easter Seals is a non-profit whose mission is to provide equal opportunities for people with disabilities to live, learn, work, and play. And with that, I turn it over to Fantasy to introduce Dream.
Thank you, Cody. This is Fantasy. Dream is really grateful to be working with Easter Seals. Obviously, both organizations are a part of disability rights and disability justice. And so Dream specifically stands for Disability Rights, Education, Activism, and Mentoring. It's a national organization for and by college students with disabilities. And our work is supported by our sponsoring organization, the National Center for College Students with Disabilities, which is based at the Association on Higher Education and Disability. So we have a lot of partners working together, which we're really grateful for. And if you want to learn more about either of the organizations that we're a part of, you can visit the website at www.eastersealsma.org or www.dreamcollegedisability.org. If you're looking to be a part of anything, or if you just want more resources, we're here to help you. And we're kind of just, this presentation is together, but really all props to Easter Seals for really helping us with the disability history movement and hashtag. So now we also have a video to tell you more about the campaign. We mentioned this is specific to Massachusetts, but Easter Seals is a national organization as well. So this is kind of for Massachusetts specifically, but it should be going on nationally. And if you want to start anything, just let us know.
At Easter Seals, Massachusetts, we've been working on a campaign to hashtag Teach Disability History. To tell you more about this, here are some of the young adults working on this campaign.
Hi, my name is Nathan.
Hi, my name is Austin.
My name is Anita Griffin.
My name is Stephanie.
My name is Elizabeth Gray.
My name is Matthew Jameson, and I'm a young adult with a disability working with Easter Seals, Massachusetts on a campaign to hashtag Teach Disability History.
The goal of this campaign is to spread awareness about the importance of teaching disability history in schools.
Please join us in these efforts by educating schools about the curriculum. You can play your part by also using the hashtag on social media to share why you think it is important to hashtag Teach Disability History.
I think it's important to teach disability history because it will promote understanding, awareness, and acceptance.
I think it's important to teach disability history because it's good for the schools to educate students and faculty so that they are aware of some of the obstacles that people with disabilities have to face.
I think it's important to teach disability history because it helps students and teachers in the classroom know that people with disabilities can overcome many different challenges, and that if you have a disability, it's okay, and there's people that you can still succeed in life.
I think it is important to teach disability history because as a society, it is our utmost duty to educate people with and without disabilities, to understand how the disability movement got started, how far we have come, and how much more there is to do.
I think it's important to teach disability history so we'll have a more inclusive society.
I think it's important to teach disability history because knowledge is power.
Stephanie, do you want to start off telling about the history of the campaign?
Sure. Hey, it's Stephanie. Over 10 years ago in Massachusetts, and advocated to get the governor of Massachusetts to sign the proclamation every year, marking October Disability History Month in Massachusetts. This was a great step in the right direction, but did not mandate that anything be taught in schools.
Thank you. Anita?
In 2019, youth at Easterseals, Mass. again joined with advocates by writing letters to the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education about the disability history curriculum, The Great Fight for Disability Rights. These efforts helped push to make this curriculum available for free to all Massachusetts teachers, but the work still continues.
Thank you. And on the side is an image of the event, the disability activist event, the Capitol Crawl, and it shows it's a black and white photo of people crawling up the steps of the Capitol. And so, as Fantasy earlier mentioned, we're from Easterseals, Massachusetts, and so this campaign started in Massachusetts, but we are looking for involvement from all across the country. So we invite you to get involved by joining us and spreading the word about teaching disability history by sharing the hashtag on social media of why you think it is important to hashtag teach disability history. You can also learn more at the website disabilityhistory.eastersealsma.org. So we now want to go into some discussion questions to hear more from members of our Teach Disability History campaign, as well as members of DREAM, to get a little bit more of, to learn a little bit more of why you all think it's important to teach disability history, as well as how you feel with teaching disability history would impact students in the future, as well as would have impacted you in the past. So the first question, and this is open to all of our panelists, I want to know, did you ever learn about disability history in school?
I still, no, I mean, the way I view it, it takes like 5-10 minutes to talk about some of the stuff. Normally we do a game, and one of the questions is the slave owner was struck in the head, and that resulted in a traumatic brain injury. And the answer is Harriet Tubman. I had no clue. So let's talk about Harriet Tubman in school. Very crucial to the civil rights movement, but they leave out the inclusive stuff. I mean, it's inclusive, but it could be more inclusive. And so we have more work to do.
Yeah, thank you, Cody, for specifically bringing up that fact, because that is like Cody mentioned, a lot of most people, I hope, have learned about Harriet Tubman in school, but like Cody, I didn't realize either until doing some of this research that they were a person with a disability, because they had received a traumatic brain injury, and that's a fact that is, I don't think, ever taught in school. So I'm curious to know if anybody else on our panel ever learned any disability history in school.
This is Fantasy. I can go next. I never learned about disability history in school. I'm from Idaho, and we're already like 49th in the nation for education, unfortunately. So it's really interesting knowing that I did learn about some type of civil rights, like Cody was mentioning. I learned about, the civil rights movement, or maybe just like racial justice in general. I think that a lot of people were left out because we didn't have that intersectional lens, meaning we didn't talk about folks who are Black and disabled, or who are like immigrants and disabled, like just different types of identities that are interconnecting together that we don't really talk about. Sometimes movements or people or organizations will only focus on one identity, when in reality, we are so much like bigger and complex than that. And we have a lot to our identities that needs to just to be more awareness. And I feel like with that representation and with that understanding of learning about that history, it just has people feeling way more confident in themselves. The closest thing I got to disability history, which is not even, it wasn't that, but one of my friends in like elementary school, he had a disability and he was in a chair, and him and his family actually came to the like one of our classes to talk about his identity and like kind of like how he maneuvers life. And this was before I was diagnosed, and I was probably like 8 or 9 at that time. And it was really awesome to know that, like learning about another person, but I think that we could have had so much more than that. And I feel like later when I was diagnosed, if I learned about the history before, I maybe could resonate with the community more. I could find like networking, I could find support, I could find resources. But unfortunately, like I've only really learned about disability rights and disability history these past like 3 years being in college, and specifically getting out of my hometown in Idaho and coming to California, where there's a little bit more like accommodation and talk about folks with disabilities. So I'll kind of like keep it at that. I didn't get any education, but now that I'm in college, it's really awesome that I can be a part of organizations like DREAM, where we have students who are teaching other students about disability history. And I also just wanted to mention Harriet Tubman. I'm holding up a book right now. It's going to be a little bit blurry, but it says Harriet Tubman in the Fight for Freedom. It's just like a documentary basically about her, but it talks about her intersecting identities of, being Black and having a disability, and just basically, like all encapsulating her life. So if y'all want to read it or listen to it, or whatever form you need, I can put it in the chat. So if y'all want that reference, but thank you.
Thank you. And that, Fantasy, and that was actually a perfect segue into the next question that you sort of just answered, but for anyone else, if disability history was taught in school, what impact do you think that would have had on you as a person with a disability?
So I'll take that. I think like it'd be good because like it'd be also good because in my school, like the acceptance wasn't really like the same. Like when you get pulled out for classes and stuff, everybody was always like, oh, what is she getting pulled out for? And I feel like if we had like the disability history and understanding, I feel like the schools would be more understanding, at least at like from a younger age. I feel like everybody is judged from a young age if they have like a disability. So like I feel like if we had like the disability history at a young age, it would have been good because then people would be more understanding and you're not just sectioned out, oh, you have a disability.
Yeah, thank you. Stephanie, do you have anything you want to add?
Yeah, I do. I can relate to Anita because I've been in her shoes. I would get looked at, differently being pulled out and going to my special ed, and they thought that there was something wrong with me. And I didn't know anything about teach disability history when I did Best Buddies. And when I did Easter Seals Youth Leadership Forum, where we watched a movie about how it all started, and we did all the timeline. And I just find it very fascinating that, we have all of this information, but I just wish I could have, learn it at a young age. And I'm also a preschool teacher, and I teach, some students who have some type of disability. And I think it's important for kids to be taught, teach disability history at a young age in preschool, because when they go to elementary school, they will know that it's okay to be different. We all are unique in our own way. And I feel like some people with disabilities, some of their needs are not getting met. They have to keep fighting for their accommodations and their access. And what I learned in life, if you have a voice, use it and stand up for yourself.
Thank you. Fantasy, do you have something you wanted to add?
Yeah, thank you. I just like to talk a lot sometimes. So I have probably answers to each question, but I just wanted to also reiterate, like, thank you so much, Stephanie. I feel like just really empowering to know that, people are sharing their vulnerable stories, because like, it's really hard. I think with more awareness and representation, there's less segregation and like elimination of people with disabilities, because as we know, like historically, like people with disabilities are either like segregated into some place else, whether it's special ed or whether it's like institutionalized in like rehabs or hospitals. And it's just really hard because then people can't connect with other folks that might like are just different than them, but nothing's wrong with them, So the more like we kind of like have that segregation, the less we want to be connected with people like that. So it's definitely just feeling like the sense of like getting judged from your own classmates. And I think that in general, special education isn't helpful for like the human connection and the awareness and representation that could happen in K through 12, because then you just have like that it's separated and that like, like there are different types of people. But it's kind of hard because sometimes folks are so like scared, quote unquote, of having a disability that like they won't even be diagnosed until like they're 18 or older, like 30s. And so not that it's bad, you know, to get diagnosed or, I'm sorry, there's trash can out there. I don't know if you can hear it, but I was just gonna quickly say that like it's hard because if you don't like bring attention to it at a young age, it just becomes a little bit more like complex when you're older, and it becomes harder to get resources and like find support and community. So it's so important to start at a young age, but still grateful that we're still trying to do this in this day and age. I know there's been talk about like the ADA generation, which is pretty awesome to be a part of. But yeah, I just wanted to add my 2 cents in there.
Yeah, thank you.
I would like to add a question.
Yeah.
Keyword confidence would build my confidence at a young age. I think all of us here have been bullied in some way, shape, and form. It wasn't Stephanie mentioned youth leadership form, and that's where I gained my confidence. You know, it's such special ed at school. I wasn't really exposed to disability and being out a community field. So when I did the youth leadership for which I have 5 years of doing it under my belt, I felt more confident, and over the years that form got me places like doing this, which I would have never imagined myself doing even senior year in high school. So, yeah.
Yeah, and just to kind of add to what Cody was saying, because I kind of agree. I do agree with that, and also to add, because myself as a person with a disability, I was never taught disability history in school, and I was not really exposed to disability history until even after college. And I just think about what learning disability history would have done for me as a person with a disability, and what it would have done to my confidence, and as well as my pride in disability. I'm very proud of being a person with a disability, and I always have been, but I didn't really identify that it was pride until later in life, until being exposed to others with disabilities, as well as learning about such great activists such as Judy Heumann, and other great activists, and seeing that and learning about different disability history events. Because being part of the ADA generation and always having the support of the Americans with Disabilities Act, I'm fortunate and grateful to those who came before me to not even really fully understand what it's like to not live with the ADA. I know that and identify that there's still plenty of work that needs to be done. But I'm so thankful for those who came before me. But you can't be grateful if you don't know that they exist. So yeah, and to go into the next question, I want to ask, what do you think? What do you think is stopping disability history from being taught in schools?
This is Stephanie. I'll take this question. To me, I think the reason why that teach disability history is not taught in schools because maybe the teachers are not getting taught what teach disability history is. Maybe they're not doing their research. Maybe they don't know how to plan a curriculum on what to taught, what to teach about and teach disability history, because like, think of it, there's so many types of different teach disability history. Like you have the civil rights movement, the ADA, and all that type of stuff. I'm still trying to figure out how to teach my pre-K students teach disability history at a young age. And I know that my kids, they learn through play and story time. So I've been finding age appropriate books on teach disability history for my 4 and 5-year-olds. But I really hope that maybe teachers, if they have a faculty meeting or a staff meeting, maybe they can all come together as one and combined and just a brainstorm on ideas to teach disability history, not just in schools, but also in colleges too, because I feel like, you know, some people, when they go to college, they don't know what teach disability history is. And I feel like they should teach disability history for people at a younger age. So that way, when they get older, they can have more experience and that type of stuff. Maybe you can do like a questionnaire game and make the learning more fun to have students engage.
Can I add something? I'm sorry. I'm not the same way I love to talk. And that's nervous. You know, I love to talk because I found my voice. But back to the question, I know in Massachusetts, we have a state mandated test. Most of the curriculum has to be built around that, and the test itself is so ableist. I almost didn't graduate on time because the math section was ridiculous. Oh dear, I freeze.
No, you're fine.
So I think that's why it's not taught in schools. Another thing I believe is I always say it starts with leadership. It starts with the education department making it a mandate. It starts with our state and federal leaders, and that's why us as young leaders need to not quit because it won't get done if we do quit.
Yeah, thank you, Cody. Fantasy?
Yeah, thank you, everyone. I definitely agree. And I just wanted to say also, I think a lot of folks think of like disability and people with disabilities in a medical perspective and only focus on the medical model versus the social model. And if y'all don't know what that is, I really recommend y'all looking it up. Just because it kind of goes, it just explains the logistics of like how people have a perspective of how they think about people with disabilities. And so a lot of people just think like they need to go to the doctor, they need to get fixed. Like I feel bad for them. But in general, that's not like how you should be thinking about someone else's body and what they're doing with their life. You should think about it in a social aspect of like, are there accommodations in buildings? Is everything ADA compliant? Are you being like mindful of like sensory needs and different types of accommodations in schools, in stores, like everywhere we go, every aspect of life should be socially accommodating for folks. So I think it's important also if you want to learn more about the universal design learning or universal design architecture, it's a kind of a new way of thinking about how to envision and create an environment physically accommodating and accessible for folks, you know, whether it's elevators or braille, but also in other ways visually and with hearing, like just different things like that, that they have accommodations for, and a mindset to where we're accepting of all people in like a social way rather than like segregating them to get help or get fixed and like thinking something's wrong with someone, and instead embracing their differences and really like coming together and accepting people for who they are and having that representation.
Thank you. Yeah, those are phenomenal points. Anita?
So I also want to ask, like, I'm also a preschool teacher, and so I definitely think like starting it from a young age is really important. Like, there's one book that I've used in my classroom recently, and it's hold on, Walk to the Top, like walking the stairs to the top. Stephanie and I, we were both talking about that book. It's really good. But I can also understand what Cody is, and the suspect of why it's not taught in schools is because there's nowhere to put it in. There's nowhere for them to move around curriculum to fit things in, to add another thing. What are they going to take out to add in that? It's all about that testing. There's no room to move things around because their point is to get those higher test scores, so things are not changed so that they can be fit in. But even like in the college, like it's also not offered like special ed classes. I was just graduated from with my early childhood degree, and there was only one class that I could take for special ed, and my teacher even said there's not many classes offered for like special ed. Like I feel like there should be more classes offered because it's where there's not much information people get to learn about it and being more involved.
Thank you. Yeah, definitely. Stephanie, do you have something you wanted to add?
Yeah, I want to add to Anita too. It also can be about the budgeting too, you know, for schools, because they're always on like a tight, you know, budget. And I've been in that situation before. If there's like a way that the school or the state can, you know, pitch in, because all the lesson plans are very, very expensive.
Yeah, that's all of those are phenomenal points and kind of lead me to think about. So again, we're Massachusetts based, but this campaign, oh sorry, my dog was just shaking, you probably heard her. But we're Massachusetts based, but this campaign is really important everywhere, but in Massachusetts specifically, it was because of youth advocacy that a curriculum, a disability history curriculum, the Great Fight for Disability Rights, was approved by the Massachusetts Department of Elementary and Secondary Education. And so this is phenomenal, and that all teachers in Massachusetts can for free access this curriculum. There's still, however, no mandate around this. And as most of you rightfully pointed out, teachers have so much on their plates that they already need to teach. They need to teach to the test, really. I remember when I was in high school, my first 2 periods were completely dedicated to the standardized test that I was going to have to take to graduate in high school. So there really wasn't any room within my schedule to learn anything other than what needed to be taught to hit that bare minimum standard. So yeah, so to kind of wrap things up, I want to end with the question that I really want everyone to leave with and think about, but maybe we each of our panelists can answer. I want to hear from you of why you think it is important to teach disability history. And so we'll start with Anita.
I think it's important to teach disability history because I feel like it's makes us more inclusive if everybody knows a little bit of information about teach disability history. I feel like people are going to be less likely to judge people if they have a disability, if we're more accepting and you get to know more information about it and all that.
Thank you. And I'll just go in the order that I see people. So Stephanie, can you share a little bit about why you think it's important to hashtag teach disability history?
I think it's important to hashtag teach disability history because I feel like people, when they think the word, disability, they focus on your disability, not your ability. People can judge someone by a book by its cover. And the one thing that I don't like when people, baby talk to people that have disabilities, and that has always been one of my pet peeves. We are like, everyone else. We want to be treated the way that we should be treated. And I just feel like if we all teach disability history together, people won't be so afraid of us. That we can all be a one happy community, and we can advocate for our rights. And there is definitely a lot of work that needs to be done.
Thank you. And next one I go to Fantasy. Why do you think it's important to teach disability history?
Thank you so much. I think that disability history education can save lives. Like, it can save people with disabilities from feeling insecure, from feeling left out, from feeling alone and not represented. I think it can also make people feel more confident and just excited about living and thriving in a world that is sometimes hard to navigate. And I think it just brings more awareness and acceptance in the world, which is just always so much better to have and connect with people and be supported by people and have resources. It's really important for people such as doctors and therapists and anyone, even a store clerk, to know that people with disabilities exist, and you have to be patient and work with people and not judge people for who they are in order to kind of just make the world a better place. I know that kind of sounds cliche, but it's really important to go back to the basics of morals and acceptance and love and respect for folks. So I think it can not only save lives, it can save communities, it can empower communities. And it's just really awesome to learn about everyone. It's interesting to learn about history, especially when it's been erased and it's a part of, it's a part of you. So I think it's just very beneficial for our education, our knowledge, and building community.
Thank you. And Cody, I want to hear why you think it's important to teach disability history.
Yeah. It will end stigma, and I have a short recent experience, it backs up my point about stigma and why it's crucial we teach disability history. Last weekend, I was at Hampton Beach which is the New Hampshire, and I was in the okay at a game in the still stares at me. Now I know you can say, well, it's a nice gesture, but I know what was behind that. He gave me a stuffed animal was almost a sorry look on his face and did this to me. You know, this is a stranger. I'm not going to get mad. But it's like I said to my grandma after, and that's why I do what I do. It's still out there in 2020. I say comments in this panel is having people see us different.
Yeah, thank you. Anita, did you have something you wanted to add?
I just want to say, like, also, like, the way, at least we are also able to promote our stuff as Desi. In the background, you have your sweatshirt. Like, even like of us, like us wearing our sweatshirts a lot. I've been stopped and asked information about our campaign when wearing our sweatshirts. So it's even like if we have something to show, it just helps us also.
This is
Yeah, exactly. Oh, go ahead, Stephanie.
This is Stephanie. I wore my sweatshirt around my supportive living community that I live out on the Cape for adults with disabilities. Even like the staff people that work with people like us, they loved my sweatshirt and they wanted to know information about Teach Disability History. And I think it's wonderful that they want to learn more about it, even the residents too. And I know that every year we do a human rights training every year, and we even talk about the ADA. So where I live at, they do know a little bit about Teach Disability History and making sure we are getting our rights met and that type of stuff. And I have been getting a lot of connections through, my friends, and they're very interested about Teach Disability History.
Yeah, and I mean, I know I personally am very thankful to Easter Seals and being able to and very thankful to all of those that are involved with this campaign, as well as organizations like Dream that invite us to come and speak and spread this message of teaching disability history, because it is, as you've all been hearing over the last hour, it is important, and it's something that will be beneficial not only for people with disabilities but people without disabilities as well. So I know I speak for our committee when I know we thank you and we're grateful for this opportunity to spread that message. And so with these last few minutes, I just wanted to open it up. If anyone watching has any questions that they want to share in the chat, or if you want to raise your hand and speak your question, that's fine as well as any additional comments from any of the panelists that you all would like to share. And I see Anna has her hand up.
Hi, this is Anna. Anita, I heard that you have the book at your from your preschool all the way to the top, and I have that too. And I got it. I ordered it online like a few months ago, and I haven't really read it to any children, but I have read it at home a bunch of times, and I hope to one day read it to kids, whether it's in a school setting or whether it's to my younger cousins. Because I agree with all of you, like it just really needs to be taught to really young kids, and yeah, so
Thank you. Anita, did you have something you were gonna add? Oh.
I was just gonna say the book I definitely think is at least a hit. And like Stephanie, I know it is like for the little kids, they love the pictures. Like sometimes, even if the children can't like understand what the words are, being able to like visually be like, oh, what do you think is happening here? Sometimes you can just change up a story and have them learn something on their own too.
Yeah, it's great because with little kids, they do so good with engagement, because you're getting them involved. And I need to get that book. I am definitely going to get that on Amazon and, bring it to school. Thank you.
It's also on Barnes and Nobles too, Stephanie.
Oh, that's good. Thank you. Thank you. I got to do my back to school shopping.
I do have a comment. Don't let anyone tell you what you can and can't do. I have that happen, and currently I'm a vice president of the National Society for Leadership and Success, the Hoyle Community College chapter. And, the reason why I aim for the high rules is to break down barriers. So we got to break down barriers.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I again want to thank all of our panelists for taking the time this evening and this afternoon for sharing your thoughts. And I like to leave these presentations with sort of a call to action for everyone that's listening in. I want you to, we invite you to anyone today or tomorrow before the end of the week, share with them just something about either what you learned today or why you think it's important to teach disability history, or just talking about teach disability history and that it exists, and that it's important. And I think if you all are comfortable using the hashtag on any social media and sharing why you think it's important to hashtag teach disability history, or sharing a disability history fact that maybe that a lot of people don't know, or maybe other people do know, just sharing that fact and why you think it's important to hashtag teach disability history. So I think with that, we are going to say thank you and goodbye, and I hope to stay connected with all of you in the future. So thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
thank you so much. Take care.
Thanks, everyone. I hope you all learned something new, and I hope we were a good audience, a good guest.
Thank you. You were. Thank you very much. Have a good night, everyone.
You too.
Thanks. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.